Hello everyone, my name is Sudhanshu Darg and my roll number is 19EC01007. So in this video lecture we'll be looking at some of the basic commands in MATLAB and the basic features of which MATLAB provides us. So here we start by creating a vector in MATLAB. This is the syntax for creating a vector, and here we have created a vector which consists of 10 elements. Here we can see the output in the command window. Vector is given. Next is adding a scalar to a vector. So we have added 3 to the vector n, we collected the output in the vector b, and here we can see that every corresponding element of a is added by 3. Next, we will look at how to create a matrice, how to create matrices in MATLAB. So here we have created matrix X with the help of the semicolon operator, and here we can see the output X, matrice X being created. Next, to get the transpose of a matrix, the syntax uses X dash, and we have collected the transpose in the matrix Y, and here we can see the matrix Y, which is the transpose of matrix X. Next, we'll be looking at matrix multiplication. We have multiplied two matrices X and Y, and the output is here the matrix Z. To multiply two corresponding elements of the matrix X and Y, that is for array multiplication, the syntax used is this, and we've collected the output matrix in P, and here is the output matrix. Now to get some subparts of the matrices, this is the syntax used. Here we have collected the column fourth. Here first we have collected the fourth row of the matrix X, and then the transpose of it, and that is a column vector X1. To similarly in the matrix U is a subpart of the matrix X, which consists of the second and the third column. To get this subpart of the matrix X, this is the syntax which is used, inner subpart, and here we can see that the output X2 is the inner subpart of the matrix X. Similarly, to delete a row or a column of a matrix X, we assign the corresponding row or the column to an empty vector, and here we have assigned the first row, so the first row of the matrix X is deleted, and here we can see that. Now next we'll be looking at plotting in MATLAB. So to plot a graph in MATLAB, this is the syntax we have used. We have assigned some values to X, and the Y corresponding to value of X, Y gets the corresponding value with the help of this equation. We'll just run this function to see the corresponding figure, and we use the plot syntax to plot X, Y syntax to plot the X and Y values. Similarly, in the second, we have plotted this stem. We have provided corresponding values to Z, and we have plotted the stem of Z. So just enlarge this so that we can see this clearly. Here are the corresponding graph. This is the graph corresponding to this syntax, and this is the stem corresponding to this syntax. So we can create graphs easily in MATLAB. We can plot graphs easily in MATLAB with this syntax. Now next we'll be looking at saving the variables in MATLAB. So here we have two variables A and B, which are vectors. Just run this function, we'll be able to see the output in the command window. So here we have two vectors A and B. So this is the syntax used to save vectors A and B in .mat file. This is ab1 file.txt, and this is ab1 file.xl. Similarly, we have saved these two variables in also the ASCII file. This is the syntax for it, my ASCII file.txt. Here we have created a structure S1, which consists of three elements, S1.a, S1.b, and S1.c, and when we save this corresponding struct in new struct.mat file. Now next we'll look at how to append any variable to a .mat file. So here we have two variables A and B, which are stored in the example.mat, and with this syntax we are appending the C vector to the example.mat file. And here we can see these are the structs, and this is the output of the appending file. Next we'll be looking at how to read and write the cell function from a txt file. So here we have a C, we have a variable C which consists of 1, 2, 3 as first one, text, today's date, and R first R as the second row. We are writing this cell C. We have saved this cell C in c.txt file, and then we read the cell with the help of the read cell command. And here is the output txt, and this is the output of the read cell command. Similarly, we can do the same function for matrices. We have a matrice A. We can store the matrice A into the a.txt file with write matrix function. We can read the matrix with the read matrix command in MATLAB. Here we can see the output that the matrix B, with the help of the read matrix we can get the matrix B. Now similarly we can also do for the audio files, to read and write audio files in MATLAB. MATLAB has an inbuilt function handle.mat. So with the handle.mat we get the y and fs, which is the rate and the speed of the audio file, and to listen to the audio file we use this function sound y.fs after reading the audio file, and we will Hallelujah, 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 Hallelujah. next question which we have is again related to plotting. We have assigned values to x, and corresponding to this quadratic equation we'll get the corresponding values to y, and with the help of plot function we have plotted the graph for x and y. Here we'll be able to see the corresponding value of y to the corresponding value of x, and this is the graph of x and y. Now with the help of MATLAB we can also solve quadratic equation to get the roots of the quadratic equation. Now suppose we have this quadratic equation over here, and the roots are r1 and r2. To get the roots r1 and r2, we just run this function, and in the command window we'll type two variables to store the two roots of the quadratic equation. We have provided a quadratic equation x square plus 2x plus 1. Here we can see, as expected, the roots are -1 and -1. Same. Now next we'll be looking at some of the commands which are present in MATLAB. Now the first command which we'll be looking at is repelm. A repelm function is used to create copies of a vector. We have provided a vector A. We've provided it with a vector A, and we've used the repelm function to repeat each element of vector A 3 times. And here, as we can see, this is the vector A, and after using repelm, each element is repeated thrice. Similarly, B is a matrix, and with the help of the repelm function, we have repeated each and every element of A in a 2 by 2 matrix. You can see a 2 by 2 matrix. And similarly, we can also do it for the columns. We have repeated each column of the C matrix 2 times. Yeah. Now reapmat. Reapmat is another command which is available in MATLAB, which is pretty similar to the repelm function, but in reapmat, here the whole array is repeated. Like if we provide it with 1 by 2, so the whole array is repeated twice, and here we can see the output. I function is used to create a unitary matrix in MATLAB, and we have provided a 3 by 3 dimension to it, and here we can see the output, this output Q. Similarly, 0 command is used to create a 0 matrix in MATLAB, and as it is 3 by 3 command, we will see a 3 by 3 0 matrix M over here. Ones command is used to create a matrix which consists of all the elements as 1, and we have created a 4 by 4 1 matrix N over here, and here is the output. Rand command in MATLAB is used to create random integers between 0 and 4, and as we have provided the input 3 and 4, it will create a 3 by 4 matrix of random integers between 0 and 1, as we can see over here in O. Reshape function is used to reshape the corresponding vector into the dimension which we want. Like here we have specified 4 by 2, the vector A will be reshaped into a 4 by 2 matrix, and here we can see the output. Similarly, we can reshape any matrices. Any matrix, we have provided a matrix A, and we have reshaped it into column, and provided that we need 6 column. The speciality of MATLAB is it automatically guesses the number of rows it will need. And here we can see a 6 by 2 matrix, and so is the case with a 3-dimensional matrix. Now the concatenation property is used to concatenate two matrices. Here we have matrices D and E. Just scroll up so that we will be able to see. Yeah, here we have matrices D and E, and if we concatenate these two matrices D and E, so here is the output of the concatenation. Horsecat command is used to concatenate the two matrices horizontally, and similarly wordcat is used to concatenate the two matrices vertically. As you can see over here, this is horizontal concatenation, and this over here is vertical concatenation. The diagonal command is used to create a diagonal matrices, and we have created a diagonal matrix over here. 7, 3, 9 are the inputs as provided by us. Block diagonal command in matrices is used to create a matrices with the input matrices present at the diagonals. So here we have provided F, G, and H. The F, G, and H matrices will be present at the diagonals, and as here we can see in the command window, F, G, and H are present at the diagonals. Yeah. Now next is the flip LR command. Flip LR command is used to flip the matrice from left to right. Here is the G matrix, and after flip LR, the matrix is flipped from left to right, as we can see over here. Next is the flip up down command, which is used to flip the matrices up and down. So here is the G matrix, and after flipping up and down, here is the output which we can see. Rotate 90 degrees is used to rotate the matrix by 90 degrees. Trill G command is used to remove the upper triangular matrix and to give the lower triangular matrix as the output. As we can see over here, the lower triangular matrix is given as the output, and similarly the trio command is used to remove the lower triangular matrix and to get the upper triangular matrix as the output, and as we can see over here, the upper triangular matrix is the output. The permute command in MATLAB is used to change the dimensions of the matrices according to it. So here we have a 3-dimension matrices and we have changed the dimension to 3 to 1, and here we can see the output is 3, and here is the output. The circle shift command is used to shift the elements of the vector by the dimension that we want. So here we have shifted by 3, and here we can see that the dimension shifted by 3. The length command is used to calculate the dimension of the maximum array dimension of the matrix, and here is the output 3. The size command is used to get the size of the matrices. Here is the output 3 by 3. The ndims function is used to calculate the dimension of G. That is, if G is a 3 by 3 matrix, so here we get the output as 2. The numeral command is used to calculate the number of elements in the matrices, and here the output is 9. The isEmpty command is used to check if whether the matrix is empty or not. So here we have see if G, we have provided with G is a non-empty matrix, so output is 0, which means false, and L, as we can see, is a 0 matrix, has a dimension 0, so output is 1, which means true. Now next we'll be looking at the while and for loops in MATLAB. So the while loop in MATLAB is used to circulate through a value which will be like here we want to go from x equal to 0 to x equal to 10. So we'll be using a while loop over here, and we'll be printing the value of x every time. Here we'll see the output x is 0, 1, 2, 3 up to 10, and after 10, as this condition becomes false, the cursor will fall out of the loop. And similarly, we have a for loop in MATLAB. The for loop is also used to go through a number of repeated conditions, as n over here goes from 1 to 10, and we add every time the value of n to the total, and here we can see the output total is 55. The MATLAB also provides us with an option to nest the for loop, to nest 2 or more for loops. Here we have an example of nested 2 for loops. One is in first for loop, a goes from 1 to 5, and corresponding to every value of a, b goes from 1 to 3, and here we can see the value. The continue function MATLAB in the continue command in MATLAB is used to go to the starting of the loop. So here, as we can see in the syntax, we have provided key if the c is divisible by 2, we want it to continue, that is go to the starting of the loop, otherwise to print the loop, otherwise to print the number. And we can see here the output odd numbers are printed. And the break command is used to break out of the loop. So here for D1 to 6 we have provided if the remainder is divisible by 5, it will break out of the loop, and here we can see the command. Now next we'll be looking at if, else, and else if statements in MATLAB. I'll clear this window once so that we will be able to run this again and get the output in the command window. So the if command in MATLAB is used if either this condition is true, then it should execute this set of statements, otherwise nothing. So here we have if x is divisible by 2, it should print % even, otherwise end. And here we can see the output, this printing 0 is even, 2 is even, 4 is even, etc. Now with if statement, MATLAB also provides us with an else statement. If this set of statement is, if this condition is true, it will execute this statement, else it will execute this set of statements. And here, as we can see, the syntax is if it is not divisible by 2, it should print the number is odd, and here you see 1 is odd, 3 is odd, etc. Along with the if and else statement, we also have the else if statements in MATLAB, which is used if we have more than 2 conditions. Here, if it is divisible by 2, it should execute this statement. If it is divisible by 3, it should execute this set of statement, and else it should execute this. And here we can see the output is divisible by 2, is divisible by 3, neither divisible by 2 or 3. Now MATLAB also provides us with the option to nest 2 or more if statements. In this example, we have nested 2 if statements. The first if statement checks if a is positive, and second if statement checks if a being positive is divisible by 2, and here we can see the output. Now next which will be looking at switch statement in MATLAB. The switch statement in MATLAB is used if to check the number. Like if here we have asked the user to input a number, and we'll check if the number is -1, it will execute this set of statement. If it is some other, it will execute this set of statement. Like here we have asked enter a number, and if we enter over here suppose 1, so the output will be +1. And MATLAB also provides us with an option of nesting 2 or more than 2 switch statements. So here we have nested 2 switch statements, which is if the case is 5, it will print you have made it in, and then it will check if it is what, and it will print you chose D. Here we have asked to enter either 5 or 6. If you enter 5, so the output which will get is you have made it in and you chose 5. This is the nested. This was all about basics in MATLAB. In the next course, we'll be looking at more further options which we'll get in MATLAB.